I mean, all the stuff that WWE says, like, please don't try this at home, we immediately had to imitate it.
Remember when I backstabbed you in the park?
That shit hurt,
I'm
bro. I don't know how
sorry.
they do that. That shit fucking hurt. 2 out of 3 falls episode
Yes.
here.
Oh, I like that. That's what it would be called. But then it would be three out of three falls or something
Yeah.
like that. Once Ant gets with the program, starts watching wrestling again. Ant watch
Yeah,
wrestling.
Anthony doesn't really watch wrestling, so he's not on these that often.
Yeah, especially with NXT now being good, which is the
Whoa. Spoiler.
spoiler.
Spoilers.
I mean, let's face it, NXT was Triple H's baby, and with what happened last night, he still remembers it's his baby. It's his first love or first child, first project, his first
Yeah.
adventures of being in charge of something that wasn't his own character. And that was
How
that.
exciting was it seeing that logo again?
When you
Or
said that
just
to me,
just seeing the fucking
good,
yellow,
yeah,
black. Oh,
like cultured people we are, especially me at the time. I introduced Chris to NXT. So when
yeah.
Black and Gold NXT died, a little bit of us died with that.
Dude, I
And,
talked about this before, but like that was appointment television for me. Like I
yeah, I
didn't have the
remember you were
WWE
watching it more than
network.
I was at some point.
Yeah, like I didn't have the network, so the next day I would literally wake up and like watch it as soon as it was on Hulu.
Yeah,
Like every single week. I did
yes, you
not
did.
miss an episode. And
Uh,
NXT 2.0 killed my soul.
and like normal people we followed suit, and we tried to keep up with it, but it was
We
not
did.
watchable.
We
I think
tried.
Tempest did the reviews. His soul just slowly left him each
Dude, they
time he watched it.
stopped. Wrestle
I'm
Talk
so
like straight up
yeah,
stopped.
it was just not watchable. You could say it was just as bad as Raw, if not
Yeah.
worse. And I get that it's developmental, it can't be harsh, but it wasn't developmental when they were trying to basically beat AEW. But c'est la vie.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we didn't watch that show last night. We just saw the reviews. We watched some clips, and when you sent me that logo, I'm like, no way. Like I thought about it myself, like I think there's a chance, but I didn't think it'd be that big of a chance. And then seeing it in person, like, yo, the
And
memories.
worth noting, that's how they closed the show. Like,
Yes,
so
that I
that
saw. I saw that.
that segment was the final, whatever, like 60 seconds or and then it ends on the transition into the black and gold
Yeah.
logo. And I actually like that they kept the new font.
Yes,
I
I do
think the
like the
new
new font.
NXT font with the black and gold looks
It's black
woo,
and gold
it looks
white
so
now.
fucking
So they
sick.
have to keep some of that 2.0 in there because let's face it, they had some success. They had some good stuff. Braun Breaker
Yeah.
is actually a really good wrestler, or
Super talented.
gonna be an even better wrestler. Um,
Carmelo Hayes
Carmelo
is
Hayes is
like,
a
holy
fantastic wrestler.
shit, dude.
That
He's
the
so
thing they're
good.
doing with Solo Sikoa, um,
Yeah.
and especially now with spoiler alert, he won the NXT North American title, which
Whoa.
which now they all of the bloodline hold something.
Well, not all of them.
Not all of
Not
them.
the honorary Oos.
Not
The
the
fourth
honorary
the
Uce.
fourth Samoan son.
Oh gosh. I love that you love this. I enjoy it a lot, but I think I'm on the mindset, and I'm sure you are too. Sammy just needs to turn face. He's been a heel longer than he's been a face.
But
And
he
he's
hasn't
a
even
natural
really
face.
been like this new run is like a he's not like a heel. He's just like being so goofy.
Yeah,
It's just
I guess so, yeah.
it's really fun. I guess we should specify. We're here to talk about the fact that NXT 2.0 is finally dead. And last
The
night's episode, which was the 1 year anniversary, which is amazing because holy shit, did it
shit.
feel like ages that NXT
It
2.0.
dragged. It
Oh my God.
dragged.
Dude, when they said it was the 1 year, I was like, there's no way it's only been 1 year. There's no fucking way. Has Mandy Rose been champion the whole time?
For
Or
the
like
most part, for the most
99% of the time? Has she been the only women's champion?
90% of the time. She came and beat I forgot. Let's see, Mandy Rose title reign.
Freaking idea. That's
But no,
crazy.
she had a whole celebration about it.
Yeah.
321 days. Yeah, she beat Raquel. That's what it was. Yeah. So in
Wow.
October she'll make a year.
That's so undeserved. Not that she isn't like
Damn, she
better.
beat Io Sky now. They actually have her as Io Sky.
Yeah.
Um in here. But yeah, she beat that 300 record. Obviously, no one's ever going to be Asuka's record, which is like 500 and something
Yeah,
days.
undefeated.
That too.
Another one of Triple H's babies, darlings.
Ah,
Yeah, so NXT 2.0, it wasn't all bad in terms of there were still good matches. There were still some great talent that we got a chance to find out about
mm-hmm.
because Vince wanted younger talent.
Wanted more
We also,
sexuality in there too.
yeah, we also lost some pretty good talent because of Vince's orders of like Finn Balor can't be in NXT. Like,
Yeah,
what's her name? Taya Valkyrie.
was
She
too
got
old.
fired because she was quote unquote too old.
Yeah.
Um,
They got rid of was it Oni Lorcan? They got rid of Danny Burch. People that I get they shouldn't have been like there because it's supposed to be for the youngins, but like also fuck it, it's also a third brand. What the fuck do you care? But then that's when it went to 2.0. I was like, yeah, it's going back to developmental essentially. So
which is
let's
weird at
focus.
that point because it was on TV.
Yeah,
Like
it made no
they
sense.
it was if it was when it was on WWE Network, it was amazing, can't miss episodes. And then when they put it on actual like basic cable broadcast, it was a hot garbage dumpster fire. Just it is like it didn't make any sense why 2.0 that should have been the one that was on like banished to like streaming only or something.
Yeah, main event or something.
Yeah,
Which
like
is
one of
funny.
those
They
shows
have they
that
have they have like a main event style show like that. It's called what was it NXT Level Up, which I
yeah, so
kind
then
of
they
like that name. It's cool, but like it's
yeah.
not necessary.
Yeah, that it was weird for NXT to have its own NXT.
Yeah, that's its
That was just
development.
like and I think Level Up was like from 205 Live,
Yeah,
which
that's
another
basically what it. Yeah,
sort of a failed project
that I
there.
guess that's one of Triple H's a little failure, but also like it went to the main roster where Vince had his hands in it. So
Yeah, it failed because Vince was involved with the company. And
yeah,
like you can't mention the word cruiserweight around Vince McMahon because he's
yeah.
just like, what do you
He'll have
mean?
a heart attack, and then you have to show him
Yeah.
Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3 to bring him back to life.
You have to
Oh,
show him all 17 times John Cena and Randy Orton faced each other.
exactly. It's a partial failure, but it's
Yeah.
also mainly Vince's fault. But if you look at it, when I got the WWE Network, the first thing I saw was a Cruiserweight Classic because I didn't get to see it. I only
Yeah.
saw the clips on YouTube. Like I need to watch this, and I went to go watch fucking all the bangers of a match that were on there.
Yeah. So Black and Gold is back.
It's
And
back
I guess we'll get more information next week.
as
There was
time goes
some
by.
like rumors that they're already working on changing the set, they might just change like the actual graphics. They might keep the set the same because it's
So
not
that's
a bad
fine. No,
set.
it's a great set. I think it's fine.
So they might just like switch everything out to just like the black and gold
Yeah.
stuff again. Um, and the experiment is over. It
Experiment is
is
over.
going to sounds like be a combination of some indie guys and some younger.
Which is how it should be, I think,
Yeah, I mean that's like sort of what it was, and then Triple H kind of started to turn it more into like just a bunch of the best indie wrestlers in the world, which I was okay with because
Right.
that was the reason I got back into wrestling when you took me to that takeover show, which we should mention allegedly
Yeah.
he's bringing back the takeover name.
Yeah, I am
Going
excited
to
for that.
be, I think there's a Halloween show, Halloween Havoc. Allegedly, it's going to be called NXT Takeover Halloween Havoc.
Ooh, wonder where it's gonna
Very
be.
exciting.
Wait a minute. Wait, where's Survivor Series this year? Is it in Brooklyn?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it is. Hold up. Go on, but like,
Survivor Series in Brooklyn. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. We
yeah,
went to NXT Takeover
New
New
York.
York.
That was Brooklyn.
I don't think they called it Brooklyn.
No, it's New York. It was NXT Takeover New York, even though it should have been
Yeah,
Takeover
yeah. It
Brooklyn
was at the
5.
Barclays
Yeah.
Center. That show was insane. That was the Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole 5.5 stars, I think, 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yep.
That was insane. Matt Riddle versus Velveteen, he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
There was a fatal 4-way for the women's title. Dude, we loved NXT so much. Like seeing this old logo
Mm-hmm.
is just it's so exciting about like we survived. I feel like I just feel like we got to the top of the mountain, man. We did it. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
We made it through the era of Vince McMahon that I
We did.
distinctly remember texting you that like, dude, Vince is gonna be running the company when we're in our 40s.
Yeah.
And it was just so depressing because it
Yeah.
was like, wow.
You didn't like that idea. I just didn't. Yeah, he was gonna be in his 90s still running the show.
He was never gonna retire. Like
Yeah.
this idea that he would retire, like he was already in his 70s at that point. I don't think it was on his mind that he's gonna retire.
Right. Until
So
he died.
this is very exciting.
It is
Do
exciting.
you think that you think that anyone might go back to NXT? Not like a demotion,
Mm-hmm.
just to sort of kind of re-legitimize because they have some people like Tyler Bate, and then I guess they sort of have like semi-elder statesmen because Braun's
Yeah.
been there since the beginning, and maybe Mandy Rose. Like it's kind of slim
Sure.
pickings in terms of like who the I guess like locker room leaders might be in
Sure,
NXT right
sure.
now. Do you
Um,
think anyone at the top of your mind that you might, Triple H might pull them aside and be like, "Hey, don't really have any main roster ideas, but NXT, your fingerprint's gonna be all over it."
yeah, I mean, you started slowly seeing that. I think even before Vince was basically canned. Like Apollo Crews. I always loved Apollo Crews' athleticism, his look. He reminded me of Shelton Benjamin, except without,
Mm.
that kind of like grit side. Even though he did turn heel, but it was awful because he had to do a fucking Nigerian African accent.
Ah,
And then
let's.
he finally came out. I was like, yeah, actually, no, like this is actually my real voice again. Like, it was
uh,
so cringy. It was so bad.
so it's like the Kofi Kingston where he used to be
Yeah,
Jamaican,
yep.
and then they were just like,
And
never mind.
they basically buried him. It was like, wait, what happened to your accent?
Vince was so
It
stupid. I don't
was,
like
yeah.
that.
But
Yeah,
I
Apollo Crews. That's a good call. He did go back. He
he
did
did
go
go
back.
back. We haven't seen him wrestle. I think Ricochet, fuck it, go make him go back.
I could see that.
Make him get the NXT Championship, maybe.
That would be really cool.
He'll be like a make maybe not become a Grand Slam champion for NXT because he never won the NXT tag team titles with Black, but that would have been cool. I
Oh,
don't know. Oh, maybe
you
him
could
and
do a tag team with Ricochet and like Cedric Alexander. Oh
or
my God,
Cruz.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna like explode just thinking about that.
Yeah, Cedric should go back, maybe get a singles run, be NXT champ. Maybe even Roddy could stay there or and be NXT champ.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a good point. They wrote Roddy off recently
oh,
at Worlds Collide, I
oh yeah, that's
think.
right.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess it's been a couple weeks since then. I don't think they've followed that up yet.
I don't
Um,
know either.
yeah, I was actually thinking of kind of like a trade sort of thing of
Mm-hmm.
like I would get Braun Breaker to the main roster ASAP because I think once you're NXT
Right.
champion, like there's not that much left for you to do.
Yeah.
So, and he's been there for a year. He's been on TV that whole time. He's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't like religiously followed everything he's done and seen all of his matches, but
Sure.
from what I've seen from the beginning, where he was like, please don't put anyone in the ring with this man, because they might get injured. And to
Mm-hmm.
now, like the match he had with Tyler Bate, I'm like, wow, this guy's come a long way in a year.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'd bump him right up to the main roster. And my like personal pick is that I'd love to see Shinsuke go back to
yeah,
NXT.
you were telling me.
Um, I guess thinking kind of parallel with that, I don't know what Bobby Roode is doing right now. He I think would you give me like Bobby Roode and Carmelo Hayes for the um NXT title? Oh man, that'd be in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean you could get some pretty good matches if you send a few of these guys back.
you could get some good matches if you sent some of these dudes back for sure. The issue though is now this is a third brand. If this is truly going to move forward as a third brand, which I
Apparently.
don't apparent like it's not telling so far like how exactly it's very vague to me because
Yeah.
I'm saying because like recently they talked about how they have a championship problem and I'm thinking maybe NXT is the answer. Roman doesn't have all the titles. So maybe this is
Right.
how you get it to be ununified. Is by incorporating NXT somehow. Um, and then maybe you keep NXT as the brand, as a third, as a third brand, third show, but
Yeah.
maybe change the title name. You have the NXT North American Champion. It's also technically the WWE North American Championship because obviously they're all in the same banner. So I'm thinking maybe like with using Braun, because like I'm just thinking back of like how like Charlotte won the Rumble and you use the Rumble to kind of like maybe utilize ununifying the championships some
Yeah.
sort of way. I don't want to get too much into it because it's main roster stuff. Let's focus on the great thing that NXT 2.0 is dead and Black and Gold is back. But I feel like this is how Trips can get out of
It's
ununifying or trying to get,
it's gonna be tough.
a championship off of Roman because he doesn't need both.
I was gonna say, I think that one of the things that I'd kind of like to see over the next, I don't know, Halloween Havoc is in like a few weeks. Um,
Hmm.
I think that the logo change is great. Everybody, Triple H knows what he's doing. Like he
Hmm.
puts the black and gold back, you're instantly reeling back in a bunch of people that stopped watching NXT.
Hmm.
Maybe a majority of the people that stopped watching.
Yeah.
Because we associate black and gold NXT with like the greatest string of consecutive like 5-star pay-per-views in a row of
Yeah.
any
To
company
us, at
ever.
least. And they weren't all five
Yeah,
stars,
yeah.
but to us.
But
Yeah,
there
like
was never a bad takeover show ever.
no,
Um,
the bad one, like the bad Brooklyn one, was the one that we went to, and even then, that wasn't that bad. Like it's still great as hell. The crowd was hot.
yeah.
Speaking of crowd is hot, did you watch the North American title, match?
I saw the highlights.
Dude, they were hot.
They were hot for Solo.
Yeah.
They were hot for Solo.
So,
Yeah.
honestly, they were like, I'm thinking like this kid should just be champion. Might as
I
well just make
know.
him champion.
It's funny when they made that move to put the title on him. Initially, I was like, well, this kind of looks weird because Ricochet just lost, but he did lose on
Yeah,
a roll up, so it wasn't
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
definitive, pin.
Mm-hmm.
I think because there's a chance with Triple H, like he might want to run that match back
Mm-hmm.
again when he knows more
Yeah,
people are watching. Um,
for the
and just like
takeover.
Ricochet and Mello are just that was amazing watching
Athletes, athletes.
them. But the crowd was crazy hot for Solo, and I remember just like not being aware that he was that popular in
Mm-hmm.
NXT 2.0. But upon him winning the North American title, I thought this is actually really smart because it legitimizes him instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like for anyone that didn't, because I think like sometimes with these main roster groups, like the Baron Corbin mid card Vortex, if they don't have any titles, then they kind of just look like a bunch of goofballs.
Right.
Where it's like, well, you're not a threat. Like you're just a bunch of losers that all
Mm-hmm.
teamed up to still lose. And like now that Solo has the North American title, which now I think part of the strategy is to showcase that on SmackDown a bit. He comes out
Yep.
wearing the belt. People are like, "Where's this from?" If they don't watch NXT,
Oh,
they're like,
that's
"Oh,
nice. Burgundy?
NXT
That's
mid
nice.
card belt,
Yeah.
cool." Um, but it does instantly make him seem like on the same level as the Usos and like, this guy's legit. He's a champion now.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially I was like, damn, he took the title off Mello. That's kind of crazy. Just because I think, he's one of those guys where it's like, boy, he's like made for that title. Like it suits him the way the IC title suited the Miz for so long.
Yeah.
But you needed a way to legitimize this guy who just cost your biggest babyface the Universal Championship, and now he's got gold around his waist, and it seems like he fits in. And it's just like they want to tell this story of like Sami Zayn is still on the outside looking in. It's all just very smart. Like I have to always remind myself, like
Mm-hmm. There's
the
a plan.
initial reactions I have to some booking decisions are from years of Vince McMahon being dumb.
Yeah.
And so like my
Being
initial
out of
reaction is
touch.
always, what are you doing? Like this is
Yeah.
stupid. And then I'm like, whoa, hold on. Triple H has a plan. And then I start thinking about everything that a booking decision that he made starts to affect, like in the
Mm-hmm.
storylines. And I'm like, oh, this is good. And yeah, I appreciate that title win now more than I did
Mm-hmm.
initially. Yeah. It looked like it was a pretty good match too, man. The crowd was going nuts.
Yeah, man. Like that's what I was saying. Like if you watch it, because they were hot for him, even though he's supposed to be technically a heel.
I
Because
think.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited for that. And I don't know what you do moving forward now with like this being a third brand, other than like present it to the best of your abilities. Because like, let's face it, it wasn't working before. Like, yes, they did lose to AEW in the Wednesday Night Wars. And I'm trying to wonder why, because Trips was in charge. Um, I mean, we know kind of why. They kept getting gutted every time. The roster kept getting gutted. I think there was a misstep when it came to giving having Keithley be promoted so fast and then having Cross be champion right away. That
Yeah.
never settled right with me. And then Cross got hurt and then had to drop the belt. I'm pretty sure. But even then, like he just never worked as champion for me. Like I don't know. And then Cole like eviscerated him with that wonderful promo against him.
Yeah.
It's like you're good with when the music, uh, or yeah, you have the cool music and stuff, and like I just remember like that sick burn. Like I'm good the moment that bell rings, or something like that. It's just a really
I,
good,
I
memorable promo.
mean, I could be wrong, and like if there's ever something that you might take from Vince, a lot of times he would send out a mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't like the way someone was going about something, he
Mm-hmm.
would have another person roast them in a promo.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole kind of like, pulled Karrion Cross's pants down. Like he made him sound like kind of a
Yeah.
bitch. And I don't know if that was, kind of sort of maybe a wake up call from Triple H because Adam Cole was his boy.
Yeah.
So if you're ever gonna have someone go out there and like talk a bunch of shit, it's probably gonna be the guy that you trust with the NXT title the most,
Mm-hmm.
aside from maybe Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. Um, but Karrion Cross to me always felt like a main roster guy. Like sometimes there's just those guys that just like they don't fit the vibe of what NXT, at least at the time, they didn't fit the vibe of what NXT was.
Mm-hmm.
And Karrion Cross just felt like, what is Brock Lesnar doing in NXT? Like, you need this dude on the main roster, like suplexing Roman Reigns through a table and like throwing Braun Strowman off the top rope. Like, you don't need him like beating up Johnny Gargano.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not really doing much. And then it makes him
Mm-hmm.
look bad if he loses to those guys because his whole thing is that he's big and strong. So, but that was never like a big part of NXT, at least the way Triple H was booking it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that between now and Halloween Havoc, there's going to need to be some sort of rehab that goes on between what NXT 2.0 was and what Triple H wants NXT to be, which is basically
Mm-hmm.
going back to classic black and gold, like
Right.
lots of good wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
less goofy, dumb stuff. Like there's always going to be goofy stuff. It's WWE. It's wrestling. Like wrestling's goofy,
Yeah.
but I do think like I don't know. I'm kind of undecided because like if you're not gonna send certain guys back just to like re-legitimize the brand again,
Yeah.
then you're gonna need to really quickly, like, I don't know, throw out like a 30-minute match next week between Tyler Bate and Carmelo Hayes or something. Like you're gonna need something to be like, hey, the banger matches where we just put two crazy talented guys
Yeah.
out there, like those are back. Because that's why part of the reason I stopped watching, I was like, oh, they don't wrestle on this show anymore. Like, I don't I don't want to watch. Like I watched NXT for the athleticism and the talented
Mm-hmm.
people that were on the roster. And when that stopped and it turned into more like screwy finishes and like goofy, like so many promo segments and backstage interviews, and I was like, I don't care about any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the reason I don't watch the main roster. It's like NXT was such a great escape for a lot of us, like I don't know, like wrestling purists, I guess is how maybe you'd categorize
Sure.
people that liked NXT. So I do think I know they're gonna do a rematch between Braun and Tyler Bate, which I think Tyler Bate's probably gonna win because that would allow you to bring Braun up in time for like Survivor Series or something. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was thinking back to like the way Worlds Collide was booked, where every
Mm-hmm.
American wrestler retained, or won the UK titles or retained,
Mm-hmm.
or however you want to think about it. And I think some of that was done just to attempt to legitimize NXT 2.0.
I
Because I think
guess.
I don't know, it feels like the the wrestling fan knows that Tyler Bate is a better wrestler than Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about in-ring skill, not that Braun Breaker isn't good, but Tyler Bate is one of the most talented wrestlers in the company. He hasn't done shit since they brought him in.
Yeah. He
I
had
I
that
think
one incredible
he's
match. Oh, he also had the other match with, was it Walter?
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Kicked out at one. I still remember the crowd lost their minds.
Um,
Um,
one thing I wanted to add before we have to end this wonderful discussion about the revival of NXT. Ooh, that should be a name of one of their takeovers, Revival. NXT Takeover Revival or NXT Revival. That'd be kind of
mhm.
cool. That would be a dope ass name, I think. But the the problem with like people like Bait and let's say Pete Dunne, who I think should go back, honestly, too. That's another
Not a
name.
bad idea.
That's not a bad idea, right? Pete Dunne. It's like there's the purists, like you said, that love and know that Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne, not Butch. And
Yeah.
Tyler Bate isn't just some 5'7" shorty who has beefy, meaty legs and is a big, strong boy. It's just like how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a dissection in order to get the reputation back of what NXT used to be. Even NXT UK, when they did the NXT UK tournament, watch that shit.
Yeah.
I got to watch that. That was great. That was some great wrestling. The first one where Tyler Bate won and won the title, great. And obviously I was kind of a purist back then too because I got exposed to all those UK wrestlers because I would watch UK wrestling a lot on YouTube for
Yeah.
free, and so that worked. Not everyone's gonna be like that. Everyone's mainly just a casual, or a consumer of WWE and now AEW because somewhere your favorite wrestler is either one of them or both, and everybody wins. But not
Yeah.
everybody gets to win because NXT was a casualty of all this. Great wrestling, great wrestling here in the States was destroyed because, and ruined, however you want to look at it, because one man didn't understand, didn't see it. And then now I feel like fans are like that. I'll always remember this one guy. Again, I told you about him, and I think I showed you the screenshots how Triple H failed, and NXT should go
Yeah.
back to being developmental, tough enough style. I'm like, wow, that's some really outdated stuff because it's not a game show anymore. It's purely about finding the best athletes, the people who may have it and could present it on TV. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I don't know.
mean, there was a point when NXT was like the place to go. Like the
Yeah,
way that we
yeah, they
talked
were setting
about
up everybody.
AEW like a year ago or whatever before
Hmm.
Vince left, and we would be like, "Oh my God, I fucking hope Aleister Black leaves and Andrade and Adam Cole. I
Hmm.
hope these guys all go to AEW." Like that was the way we used to feel when guys would show up in NXT, like Keith Lee, Dijak, Tyler
Hmm.
Bate, Pete, like
Hmm.
when all like Walter, like when those guys would
I
go to
was
NXT,
also
Matt
happy.
Riddle, like all these guys, we would
All
be
these
like,
dudes that I've
holy
seen
shit.
wrestle were going there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, start off in NXT, then to the main
Like
roster. Let's hold our breaths, and I did hold my breath for some of them because I'm hoping they can't fuck them all up, and they did. They fucked them all up
somehow
somehow.
for everything, for all of the like previously known guys that came to NXT, like Keith Lee, Riddle, Adam Cole, I always think back to what Triple H managed to do with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa,
Hmm.
who were in the Cruiserweight Classic,
Yep.
and then they were a tag team,
Hmm.
And then and like I always look back on this and I'm like, man, the eye for talent you have to have and the booking smarts you need to be capable of to take two guys from the Cruiserweight Classic, which, like, if you go back and look at the people who were in that tournament, please point out the ones that actually like made it in the company, because not that many of them actually got a real shot. But
Right.
like the fact that he took those two guys and they went from sort of unknowns in the Cruiserweight Classic, unless you were like deep, deep diehard,
Mm-hmm.
to one of the most popular tag teams in NXT, to two guys who were main eventing multiple takeovers against each other and had like one of the most legendary rivalries in wrestling history. And I think stuff like that, even though this new transition is going to take time,
Mm-hmm.
when I think back to those two, I think like he can do it again. Like
Mm.
he's already done it. And he's got plenty of guys who can like pick out, talented big name indie guys who he can try to get to
Mm-hmm.
come to NXT. But he can also take those guys who weren't huge household names. And, Johnny Gargano, I remember I saw him at that first takeover show. And then like a year later, he became like my favorite wrestler. And I'm excited to see Triple H work that magic again.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too, man. Fun fact, Survivor Series is going to be in Boston, so maybe that's where Takeover makes its return, and maybe, just
It'll be cool
maybe,
if they bring back those like big takeover shows.
just
That would be
maybe,
awesome.
maybe, if they want to do that again, and then attach it to attach a pay-per-view weekend. Maybe we can go over to good old Boston. And also,
You know,
Carmelo Hayes is from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm not sure if he's from Boston, but that he should still remain in NXT for a big takeover show. They all deserve a big takeover show
they really do.
for putting up with such a shitty show. Also,
Yeah. I would honestly love to see like Carmelo Hayes, Tyler Bate, Braun Breaker for the NXT title.
mm-hmm.
Because I think also then you could potentially, well, I guess I don't know if you want to pin Braun Breaker, but like there's ways around. Like I just selfishly as a wrestling fan, I want to see those three in the ring together.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing. But it's gonna be exciting, man. I think everybody
exciting
saw that
times.
logo and we were like, holy shit,
Oh,
black and gold is back.
yeah, Black and Gold is back, baby, and hopefully your favorite wrestler one day will be back to finally shine under the bright lights of the legendary WWE banner. But for now, it's all speculation, it's all hope, and it's all love for now and hope. But if anyone who can give us hope is Triple H, and so far he's doing a good. It's better than what it was before, and that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna take it for.
And
That's all
look,
I'm gonna
Triple
take it.
H built up NXT into the behemoth that it became. I have no doubts that he can do it again.
I have no doubts either. You just got to be patient. But for
Just got to be
now,
patient. That's all.
yeah, but for now, we'll keep being patient and we'll keep watching. Thank you everybody who tuned in and is listening and watching on YouTube or Spotify. We really appreciate it. My name is Frankie Rodriguez, Christopher Langsdorff, Three Amigos podcast, 2 out of 3 falls this time, and we'll keep watching wrestling for your entertainment and for our careers, hopefully. Not really. Please watch, please listen. But that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.